At our ministry, we produce a lot of videotapes. We've made over 1 million videos now in 6 languages. They're not copyrighted. We encourage you to get our stuff and spread it around.
Dr. Hovind has his doctorate in education. He's great at explaining scientific principles. He taught science for 15 years and is an expert on this subject.
I was a high school science teacher for 15 years. Now for the last 12 years I've been traveling and speaking on creation, evolution, and dinosaurs. I like science. I taught it for 15 years. I even have a PhD in education. It stands for post-hole digger. Now this word evolved is a very tricky word. It has 6 different meanings. The first part of evolution would have to be cosmic evolution. That would be the Big Bang. Secondly, we'd have to have chemical evolution. Thirdly, we'd have to have stellar evolution. The stars would have to form. Fourthly, we would have to have organic evolution. Fifthly, we would have to have macroevolution. Sixthly, we would have microevolution. Now this one happens a lot. See, science is things we can observe and test and demonstrate in the laboratory and study. There are all sorts of scientific ways to demonstrate the Earth cannot be billions of years old. Things like the first law of thermodynamics, which tells us matter cannot be created or destroyed. The second law of thermodynamics tells us everything tends toward disorder. The evolutionists will say, well, now, Mr. Hovind, you don't understand. See, if you add energy, you can overcome the second law of thermodynamics. They'll say, the Earth receives energy from the sun, and therefore the second law doesn't apply because the Earth is an open system. See, the whole universe is a closed system. For the Earth to get energy from the sun has to lose it. Secondly, adding energy is destructive unless there's a mechanism to utilize the energy. The sun does add energy to the Earth, I agree, but it's destructive. There's only one thing that can actually use the sun's energy, and that is chlorophyll. If it weren't for chlorophyll and plants, the sun's energy would make the Earth like the moon. And I happen to sit right next to a professor from Berkeley University. I don't know if you folks down here in San Diego have ever heard of Berkeley or not, but Berkeley is not a Bible college. And we started talking about creation and evolution. I said, tell me, sir, if you believe in evolution, how did the world get here? He said, it came from the Big Bang. And so the professor started off on one of those answers that looked like it came straight from the textbook. He said, well, Mr. Hovind, I believe about 18 to 20 billion years ago, now, that's a long time, folks. All the matter in the universe was concentrated into one very dense, very hot region that may have been much smaller than a period on this page. I said, Professor, what happened to your dot? He said, well, all the dirt in the universe was drawn into this little tiny dot, and it was spinning. It spun real fast. That's what the textbooks teach. It spun faster and faster. And finally, one day, it exploded. Big bang. And pieces flew off, and they became the galaxies, sun, moon, stars, and finally people. Here we are. That's because of a law in physics known as the conservation of angular momentum. You see, if a spinning object breaks apart in a frictionless environment, which the Big Bang would have been, all the fragments that fly off will spin the same direction. That's because the outside is moving faster than the inside. The professor said, yes, I know about the conservation of angular momentum. I said, well, good, sir. Then I have a question for you. If the universe began as a swirling dot, Big Bang, like you said, would you please explain to me why 2 and possibly 3 of the planets are spinning backwards? The professor said he did not know where the matter came from, so I said, well, sir, could you tell me where the laws came from? Who runs the universe with these laws? Gravity, centrifugal force, inertia. Who's the lawgiver? The Earth is turning. We are spinning around. The Earth's going about 1,000 miles an hour at the equator. 1,041.6 for you technical folks. But the Earth is slowing down. It used to be going faster. But as the moon goes around, it's gradually getting farther and farther away. We're slowly losing the moon. It can't be billions of years old. According to Walt Brown in his book, which we have out there on the table, he says 1.2 billion years ago, the moon would be touching the Earth. Comets are flying around through space, but comets are constantly losing material. But this scoffer said, Hovind, don't you know, in the 1950s, a Dutch astronomer named Jan Oort proposed that a shell of comets existed at the remote frontiers of our solar system. He said this Oort cloud, as he called it, is 50,000 astronomical units away. See, there's a problem with this. No one has ever seen the Oort cloud. You kids are going to be told that red giant stars evolved to white dwarf stars. And they'll tell you it takes billions of years for this to happen. But it doesn't take billions of years. All of the ancient astronomers described Sirius as a red star. They said it was red. I know it's a binary star, but today Sirius is a white dwarf binary star. It does not take billions of years. It happens in a few thousand years.